Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome to this week's card. Today I'm using the penny black Tannenbaum tree, and I'm going to take a piece of black cardstock and I cut it to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because I'm going to trim it later. I wanted to have some options. And I'm going to stamp it 3 times using some color box pigment ink, and it's called Frost White. It's my favorite white ink. It works great on dark cardstock. So I'm going to overlap the trees just a little bit, and I'm going to try to make them 3 different heights so I get a little bit of variety. Alright, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to take my color soft pencils. So these are made by Derwent, the same company that makes Inktense, and they're kind of like a pastel-y sort of pencil, and they work great on dark paper. So I'm going to use 2 different shades of green, and I'll put the names of the colors on my blog if you're interested. And I went over it with the light green first, and I'm just kind of drawing lines, which is great about this stamp because it's got just a lot of lines to it, so you really can't mess up. So you just draw the lines with the light pencil first, and then you just go back in and just draw random lines with the dark one. So I sped this up for the last 2 trees. And then I'm going to take 2 different colors of like a golden yellow. One's a light color. I'm just going to color the whole top of this. And then I'm going to take my dark one. I'm just going to color the edge, and that just kind of gives it a little bit of a rounded perspective. Okay, next I'm going to take some liquid pearls, 3 different colors, mint green, white opal, and buttercup. And there's garland that kind of goes down this tree. And I sort of covered it up quite a bit, so it's a little hard to see. But it's okay because it doesn't need to be exactly where the stamp was. And I see I messed up here. You're supposed to lift straight up, and I lifted off to the side. So I just took my paper piercer and I just scooped it up, and then I wiped it off with my finger, and it came right off. So I'm just going to squirt pretty much every 3rd piece of garland here. I'm going to speed it up for the next 2 trees. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just laying a base because I really want it to be sparkly, but if I put sparkles directly on the tree, they're not going to show up very well. So I'm going to use 3 different colors. So the second one is the white opal. And these circles that I'm making here are not exact at all. In fact, they look quite messy. But it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be putting stickles on top of it. So now I'm just going in with that second piece of garland. And I kind of messed up, as you can see. I didn't exactly do every 3rd one. I don't know what I was thinking, but it doesn't matter. So, and then the third one is green. So I'm just going to fill in the gaps here. Okay, and once that's done, you'll need to let it dry. I let mine dry for about, I would say 45 minutes or so to an hour. You can zap it with a heat tool if you want. And now I've got 3 colors of stickles: yellow, eucalyptus, and the Stampin' Up! Cherry Cobbler. And so I'm going to take my yellow stickles and I'm going to squirt it on top of the buttercup liquid pearls. And if I were to put the buttercup directly onto the tree, you'd kind of see the green through it, and it just doesn't make it pop as much as when you have kind of a base of the liquid pearls underneath. And then I also added a little bit of the stickles at the top there. And now I'm putting the eucalyptus stickles on top of the mint green liquid pearls. And really what I did was I just went into my stash of pearls and stickles and sort of picked out the same colors of stickles and liquid pearl. So I just happened to have 2 yellows, 2 greens, and then with the white, I just used white underneath the red, and I think it worked really well. But you can pretty much use just whatever colors you happen to have on hand. And in fact, you could use all white liquid pearls underneath and then just cover them up with whatever color stickles you have. I think that would work just as well. Alright, then let that dry. I think I let that dry for another hour or so. And then I used my gorgeous grunge again as snow. I'm just loving this set this Christmas. I've used it a lot as snow. with the same frost white ink that I used at the beginning. And now I'm going to work on my card base. So I'm actually coloring directly onto my card base, which is the 4.5 by 5.25 inch folded, I'm sorry, I said that backwards, 4.25 by 5.5 inch folded cardstock, and it's Neenah Solar White, and I'm using Bundled Sage Distress ink. I think it matches the green pencils that I used, and that was kind of my goal. And I'm just going to ink up the edges because I'm going to be putting the tree panel right in the center. Now, to add a little bit of interest, I use this envelope pattern stamp by Hero Arts. I love to use this when I already have a focal point on my card and I just need something subtle in the background. I really don't want the eye to be drawn there. I just want it to look a little bit more interesting. And this just adds just the right amount of light touch. And now I'm just going to adhere it all together. I decided not to put a sentiment on it because it just looked so peaceful. I actually played with the word peace a little bit, but I just decided it was just best by itself, so I put the sentiment on the inside instead. And that's it. It was pretty simple actually to make this card, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.